You know what's really funny? I was wondering a little while ago of why I started doing the sort of long, we're live thing. And I happened upon a clip for something that turned out to be from an episode of Arsenio Hall's show back in the 90s. And the guy did that whole thing where he said, like, Arsenio, and he would keep going. And apparently there's like a list. Well, I saw part of it at the very beginning, but there's like a list of people tracking how long he actually held the O. And so the longest was 20 seconds or something before going into oh, the dog pound or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Hi, boys. How's it going? We're the Crafty Boys. We drink beer and talk about stuff, and we do it on Wednesday night because we've always done it Wednesday night. So if you have a problem with that, so how's it going, everybody? How's your week been? Are you guys are you behaving properly as Justin tells us to? And in this province, Bonnie. So here we go. So the entire show must be done with masks on now, and you have to drink your beer through your mask. No? Right.
If Darth Vader can do it, I can do it.
Damn straight.
If we're doing masks, I'm gonna go get my new shirt.
Didn't he eat in his hermetically sealed chamber?
Huh?
I would imagine so. Like, could you imagine like Darth Vader going out for like a bagel? I will have a bagel. How are you going to eat this? I will take it home. But you can eat here in the restaurant. No, thank you.
I imagine you'd have to have it blended. Because, I mean, let's face it, the lava went and destroyed... No. The lava went and destroyed his breathing abilities. I imagine it kind of destroyed his digestive abilities as well. Like he cannot ingest food. I mean, and think about
like,
it.
Are you talking like a sippy straw, or are you talking? But in his chamber,
he probably takes it intravenously.
Would he? Oh,
like maybe he puts in a syringe and shoots it between his toes or something. I don't know. I mean,
I'm going to ask the studio audience: does Darth Vader drink beer with his mask on or off? That's a very good question. I would like to know the answer.
Okay, well, we'll come up with the answer to this before the end of the show.
I think
excellent.
Special port under the helmet. Like he takes the helmet off and then he like just connects the beer on either side. Gunk, gunk, and it's sort of like the beer just sort of flows.
Maybe underneath the helmet, he's got two cans. Like he's got one of those headband things with the two cans and the straws that go down, and that is the helmet on top of that.
The samurai thing is actually not a samurai influence sort of design. It's more of a, George, what do you want your Darth Vader character to look like? Well, actually, I really like beer, and I think Darth Vader should really like beer. So can you design a helmet that has some sort of beer storage capacity? So even when he's like fighting, the light side people who we're not sure what their names are, Star Killer, maybe I'm not quite sure about that, but he's just sipping on. He's got like two things, like delivering beer to his system. Yeah, I think Darth Vader would definitely do that. I'm on board.
What are we drinking tonight, guys?
Right. Darth Vader, were he here, would be drinking this beer called the Tragically Hip Lake Fever Lager. Now, there's some writing on the thing which I can't read because it's so small, and
because Shane never learned how.
I never learned how to read. But the Tragically Hip Lake Fever Lager is a partnership that the remaining members of the band, the Tragically Hip, they partnered with Big Rock Brewery out of Calgary to make this beer because, and I quote, it has always been our dream of making our own beer. So they basically, we've harbored the ambition to release our own beer for a long time, but could never find the right partner until now. That's such techno speak or marketing speak. We're proud to announce the arrival of Lake for Big Rock Brewery for the. So basically, this was released in June, and apparently they started formulating it in January. It took them 6 months
So
to do.
is this
here you
like part of a special run, or is this going to be like a available year round kind of thing?
I don't know. Over the last 6 months, we've developed a thirst-quenching beer that now they do say here that it's made for disconnecting on a dock at sunset and reconnecting with your favorite band. That's their first thing. But it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. There's actually very little information on Big Rock's website about this particular beer. I don't. No, there does not appear to be any.
So here it is in the glass.
Thing.
It looks like a lager, smells like a lager. Now I'm going to go out and admit this. I am not a lager kind of guy usually. Lagers are dad beers. You know what I'm saying? Like dad
really
beers from like 30 years ago, right? My dad drank lagers and pilsners and stuff because that's all there was available, and it was gross. This is awesome. I would drink this all the time. In fact, I would say that this is kind of, if I was going to compare this to something else, I would compare it to, say, maybe Blue Buck, which is interesting because Blue Buck is an ale, but
that's a good.
But yeah, it's got that same kind of like there's that aftertaste to it, and I'm really digging it. I'm really enjoying it. Shane, how about you? What are you thinking?
I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I think that this is a decent beer, and I really hope that we could find more of it. It doesn't say anything about this. This is the information that's contained here. Lake Fever Lager, clean, uncompromised lager with a golden color and very approachable hop profile. Made for disconnecting on a dock at sunset or reconnecting with your favorite band. That's it. That's all the description we get, other than over the last 6 months we developed a thirst-quenching lager, blah, 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 blah. Signed, The Hip. So, hey, you know what? To be honest, I don't care. It's not on the Big Rock website, except for the special one-page extravaganza, which is bigrockbeer.com/the-hip. Which is basically just a quick way to find where you can buy this particular brew.
Well, I love the Tragically Hip, and this beer from them is definitely a winner. So, thumbs up. I get it again.
I fully agree. We should buy more. Okay. Apparently, I can buy it at the Big Rock Brewery down the road for me. So.
Oh, nice.
But there you go. There's not a whole lot of info. Like, there's no. It's just basically we wanted to make a beer, and here it is. So
cool. I want to talk more about.
Apparently, we can win more about it. Okay, cool. Sorry.
I want to talk more about rock and roll and beer, but I will leave it for later. Let's find out what Dave and Locke are drinking.
PogChamp Sting W Sting W.
This is what I've got going on tonight.
What's that?
Black cherry.
Boylan's black cherry, yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's you guys have probably seen Boylan's. I think it's fairly common.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I kind of like what they do. I haven't had a whole lot of their stuff, so I'm just trying to grab different ones, and
And how is the black cherry?
It's lovely.
All right. Is it when it says black cherry? Can you tell whether is the blackness of the cherry available to you in the flavor profile?
That's a fair question. And you know what? I think not sure it's translating very well, but I don't know. What do you think, Locke? We got some blackness going on there.
Pretty decent.
Yeah. But I can see the color of it. Yeah, but how does it take? Does that taste different than other kinds of cherry?
Actually, it does.
Okay.
I think it's a bit smoother. Yeah. I think it's a
Leave
bit
it in there.
smoother than the pop shop stuff that I had
Yeah.
a little while
So it's
ago.
less like the maraschino, like totally artificial cherry flavor, and it's more like something that tastes of berries.
Yeah. I think that's fair to
Well,
say.
one.
It's smoother. Yeah, maraschino. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
it's
Interesting.
well, they pack maraschinos with sugar,
Yeah.
Dead babies.
Yeah.
and well,
They are.
I wasn't gonna bring that up, but since you went there, you
Dead
know,
babies and malt sugar.
that's part of the reason. Yeah, they're like this guy here is it's sweet, which you expect, but it's not it's not
Overpowered.
that gross, over the top
Yeah.
saccharine type.
Here is sweetness that is going to be jammed down your throat until you are satisfied and diabetic. I'm just filling in your words there for you. I thought maybe, that's where you're going, but
Well, close enough.
Locke, what are you drinking? I don't
What
see you drinking anything else. Is that water you're drinking over there? What's going on?
This is Glorioso.
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 Glorioso. This is an Italian Pilsner. Clocks in at 5.5%. It's by Left Field Brewery. Ballpark pairings, Reuben sandwiches, and calamari. Ingredients:
Interesting.
water, malted barley, hops, and yeast. So, Reinzgebot. Let me see. What else do we have to say here? Independent craft brewery. And they are in, where are they? Wagstaff Drive, Ontario, Toronto, Canada. They are in Toronto. Now, that is interesting because what drew me to this, and you might be wondering, well, why is Locke drinking an Italian Pilsner exactly? And the reason is because I noticed the tin. You notice this, shiny, uncolored aluminum tin in a 355 milliliter format with a sticker label on it. Now, let me fill out the picture here a little bit.
Okay. He left.
And I'm right
He's
back.
out. He's gone.
Here. So about a year ago now, I did this one here. Do you remember me bringing this one up? This is Truth Serum by Rorsach.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic beer. Absolutely top notch. This I discovered recently. This is the Davenport Saison. You see what these all have in common? The plain aluminum 355 tin with the sticker on it.
Yeah.
My friends are the hoof prints of a mobile canning unit. And that says to me that gypsy brewing is now a thing in Toronto.
Oh.
We're getting smaller and smaller batches and more independent brewmasters turning out product using a mobile canning line and getting it on the shelves. And I find it interesting that they've gone 355. Maybe that's just what was available, but it's interesting because you don't see that out west. 355 tin. That's not what you normally think. Ooh, that's a format that must mean craft brewing. So what's interesting is that when I see a 355 tin in that format now, I immediately take notice and I want to find out more about it because I recognize that this is somebody doing something a little bit different. Yes, I see what you.
So this is a 473.
Yeah, tall boy.
It's a tall boy, yeah.
it's interesting formats that have been
Yeah.
the sort of, you know, the proof of youth, as it were, in terms of, you know, this is an independent brewer. For a long time out west, it was Big Bomb, you know, like the 650.
Yeah, the bomber bottles seem to have. I mean, they're still around, but they're definitely not as plentiful. The tall boys are taking over. So
yeah, and so I find it just really interesting that in Toronto, where it's at, is neither of those. It's the 355. Now, you'll also be interested to note that when they price these things, they're not necessarily taking volume into consideration. So you
no,
but that said, if
how much are you paying for one of those?
So this was $3 a beer. $3.
The government lied.
You know, for these things, we're spending upwards of $4 each.
Yeah, so it's not. It's
sometimes
not,
$5.
So potentially not unrelatable, but it's it's not your $2.50 or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, so let me get on to what this beer actually is. This Italian Pilsner. Now, I think this actually is flavorful. It's not as skunky as a Czech Pilsner, you know. Okay. But it's got way more flavor than what I take to be your sort of your standard North American Pilsner, right? Mm-hmm. The food pairings they suggested, calamari and Reuben sandwiches. Okay, sure, okay, yeah, I buy that.
I'm trying to picture.
While we were talking a moment ago about maraschino cherries, I was having flashbacks to Italian restaurants, literally Italian restaurants. Drinking this, I am sold on the idea that this is a Pilsner that would go down well with an Italian meal. Now, I'm also thinking, because Victoria, I'm also getting flashbacks to things like Neapolitan ice cream, and then my mind drifted to, do you remember those boxed ice cream novelties that you could only get in Italian restaurants, like Romeo's Pizza? If you went to Romeo's Pizza and you ordered dessert, those things would be on the menu. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
spumoni with chocolate on it in a funny shape.
Yeah.
You know, and it comes out of a box, but they would plate it for you and then bring it out, right?
That's right. Weird. Yeah, no, I do recall that totally.
Yeah.
Now we're really old. I'm trying to think of what they were called. Like there was actually a brand that they had.
Yeah, there was, wasn't there?
I can't think of it all. I mean, my brain is now bringing up things like those, also those cups, those paper cups with the wooden spoon.
Oh, the Dixie cups.
The Dixie, is that what they were called? Dixie cups? Yeah. I remember those as well. I mean, those were amazing.
Yeah. No,
although I actually just saw somebody eating a freezy out in the neighborhood a little while ago, like the last couple days, and I thought freezies were gone.
No,
I thought they were like
good
a dead
Lord,
product, but no, they.
I
just haven't looked for them.
With the current generation's fascination with rainbows, you think freezies will be gone?
They're smaller now than
freezy rainbows. Yeah, I remember them being like,
okay. Either the freezies are smaller or we're bigger.
I think we're bigger.
I think that tracks.
Yeah.
But wow, we're so old.
So I just wanted to mention, so we're drinking the Tragically Hip beer, which is an awesome rock and roll band in Canada here. Mm-hmm. If you're in the States and you haven't actually heard of the Hip, I highly suggest checking them out. They never caught on in the States for whatever reason. But they're not the only Canadian rock band to have their own beer now. Apparently, Rush is getting its own beer.
Yes, in fact, I saw that
Yeah.
in the shop this evening. I was tempted to get it until I read what it was.
What is it?
It's a
I know nothing about it.
It's a golden ale,
Oh,
Oh,
I think. Yeah.
I'd still try it.
it's worth a try.
I saw that and I saw this and I remember what I was saying about the format. I saw this and I'm like, I know this is going to be different and interesting. I'm going to do that.
Who did they partner with for that?
Well, they partnered with a very respectable craft brewer called Henderson. And this is interesting actually because Henderson. So right above Henderson are the offices of Banger Films. Sam Dunn, who used to live in Victoria, who was a friend of Jeremy Turner's, who I used to go shopping for records at Lyle's place with. Sam Dunn, who the guy who made Metal Headbanger's Journey. Yeah, that dude. His office is right above. So he may have had something to do with Henderson arriving at, we're going to make a Rush beer. He may have brokered that.
It's possible.
He has made a Rush documentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's done Rush. He's done Alice Cooper. He's done ZZ Top. These are all available on Netflix.
Oh, that makes me sad. Sorry, you said that and I just remembered that Dusty is gone.
Yeah,
So-
Dusty's gone. That's sad news. It is. Yeah.
And also, you mentioned something about going to Lyle's place. It was announced this week that Lyle's place would be closing permanently at the end of next month.
Oh.
Of October or September?
Yeah, I think starting tomorrow or today, actually, they were starting a 50% off sale on all
That
their stock. And
sucks.
yeah, end of an era.
End of an era. Yeah.
I wonder why.
No. Closing after.
There's no reason given.
No reason given. They just said it was time to sort of like do something else.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's been a long time. It's been open since the 80s, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I'm sure the owners are.
I bought my
You know-
first AC/DC cassette there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I bought. What did I buy there? I bought some like metal T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which ones. I had a Pink Floyd shirt from, and I remember. So like, when they were on the display shelf,
Yeah.
they were folded up and they were on like this like a cardboard backing inside, so that it would it's not flimsy or anything, and you can actually see the design on the front. And then you buy it and you take it home and you take it off the cardboard insert and realize it was an old Foghat record album.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what they did on all their shirts. They took old records that they probably couldn't sell at the time, and they just wrapped T-shirts in them, so you always got like a free record album with it. If it was, so I got Foghat.
Nice.
Nice.
I didn't have a record player to play it with because everything was cassette then. But yeah,
How about now? Do you have a record player now?
no,
Well,
I don't have anything now.
Well, there's a they're just in our hallway. Somebody was giving away speakers and a turntable, and I was very tempted, but then I was like, do I really want to deal with vinyl again? No.
Well, actually, I mean, vinyl. Yeah, I was thinking about it, but the actual buying vinyl is really expensive. I mean, I think they're like $30 each.
Oh yeah,
They can be. They're not always that
I
bad.
still have enough vinyl that it makes sense for me to have a turntable. Do I have a turntable? No, I don't have a turntable currently. I have a ton of vinyl, but no turntable.
The only vinyl I still have is my Chipmunk Punk album.
Nice.
sorry. There. First question.
Yeah.
Alvin and the Chipmunks did a punk album.
Yes, but it actually has absolutely no punk on it.
What's on it then? We're doing a punk album. Here's our cover of Sinead O'Connor.
No. It's got on it Billy Joel, Tom Petty, The Cars. Who else?
Cars.
I can't remember who else. Look it up.
guys
Look
are
it up.
hardcore
Look up
You
Chipmunk
think
Punk.
the Cars were new wave.
The album cover is awesome.
I remember the flexi disc that came with the Bloom County Digest that featured Billy and the Boingers. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was pretty legit that they got New York hardcore band Mucky Pup to stand in as Billy and the Boingers.
Nice.
Right.
All right, so
Have you found-
here is what I have indeed found it.
Okay.
So here's the
Yes.
this is the cover.
Oh
And
yeah,
what
and it's got
strikes
Debbie
me here
Harry.
is- The hell is this?
Urban Chipmunk.
Chipmunk?
Yeah,
What the hell?
it's
But,
from
yes,
Urban Cowboy. So, do you have the
Call Me Refugee. Yeah.
do you have the song list on there? Yes, Call Me was one of them.
I'm sure we can find it. Alvin and the Chipmunks punk album. All right, so yeah, here we go. Chipmunk Punk. Yeah, here we go. Let's go. Good girls don't. How do I make you? Really? Refugee, frustrated. Call me. You may be right. Crazy little thing called love. What?
Oh yeah,
I'm
and My
sorry.
Sharona.
Are they from Earth? Who picked those songs? Because I
There's a little
remember
thing called,
back in
is
the
that
day.
the Honey Drippers?
What?
I have no idea.
What crazy little thing called love?
Yeah.
Queen.
No, it's the Queen.
That was
That was
Queen.
Queen.
Okay, Queen. But that must have been about the same time as the Honey Drippers and the fucking
It came out.
young album where he went doo-wop.
It came out like 1980, something like that.
Yeah. That's about right. So, like the early 80s, there was this really fucking dark period in history where Robert Plant and Neil Young and apparently Queen decided all to do doo-wop albums and kind of go for this like this kind of 50s sort of, slickster vibe. And, the videos sort of looked like an Amex commercial for
Well, okay, so there was
travelers checks,
there was a bit of a trend in the early 80s there. Remember the Stray Cats? They had a very sort of like a rockabilly kind of
Yelled off, yeah.
Yeah. They had like a real rockabilly kind of sound to them.
Yeah.
Some that you hadn't heard at the time in probably like 20 years. So, which sounds like an amazingly short amount of time now that I am the age that I am, 20 years. Like to me, the 1950s and 60s were ancient history. I mean, they were like way in the past, and
So
it wasn't.
Consider that when teenagers today are listening to 90s music, how retro that is for them.
I know. It's sad.
Does that not make you just a little bit ill?
I still listen to 90s music and think that I'm hip because
Why do you listen?
No. I still think that I'm hip because I listen to 90s music because that's what the kids listen to. The kids listen to Blink 182 and I'm listening to, so that makes me hip.
It shows what an old man I was by the time I was in my late teens. I was like, oh, no, none of this. Like anything after 1989 is, questionable.
Really? Like even Nirvana?
Oh God, especially Nirvana.
Really?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, no, I listened to 80s Nirvana. Sure. Yeah, 80s Nirvana was great. I'm a Negative Creep. Yeah, great song. And then the 90s happened, and it was like, God. I used to listen to alternative music in the 80s because it was an alternative to the mainstream. Now, every fucking radio station in the city is a constant stream of, in quotes here, alternative music. How do I get away from this shit? Like the Breeders, fuck off. Oh, terrible.
So, what did you think of the Pixies?
Oh, the Pixies, I'll admit, they were catchy as fuck. And I liked them because they were, in their way, a little retro for what they were doing. But I mean, God, the style was such a headache. Like, yeah, like fucking, really well played, well written, catchy pop rock. No question about it. Like, technical merit, fucking start to finish. But I would never admit to being the kind of person that would gravitate towards the Pixies. You know what I mean?
Right. To be honest, I really only liked one of their songs.
Mm.
That was it.
What was the album called? Remember those albums that the Q did? Do you remember what those were called?
Rocktoria?
Was it Rocktoria?
Yeah, actually, well called. Yeah, I think that's exactly what that was.
They did have their all
remember.
bad band, though, if you're thinking of their.
They did a few different things, but the one that they did every year was Rocktoria.
Yeah.
And they would feature 4 local bands on it, and they'd get airplay, and they go like on a island tour.
Well, it's well, here you go. The original Rocktoria. Oh my God, they did 10 of them. You can buy them for like $40 a piece.
I have them all except for the first one.
Was it all local acts?
It was. Well, Vancouver Island.
Vancouver Island, yeah.
So they would have some acts from Nanaimo and that kind of stuff. Like David Gogo.
Do they ever Swell Prod on there?
Who?
Swell Prod?
I don't remember that name. I remember Current Swell.
No. I'm thinking Scott Henderson bands here.
It's possible. I don't really. It's been a long time. I remember David Gogo. I think that was Rocktoria 3 or 4.
He's still going.
Oh yeah, he is.
Doesn't do the same material, I don't think, but
No,
he's still out there.
Yep.
I was looking these up, and they're pretty much all over YouTube, apparently.
Huh.
Yeah, Rocktoria 2, Rocktoria 3, Rocktoria, some video from some of the touring. Rocktoria 10. 10 was in 1998. Wow. Rocktoria 1 featured Messenger, Ain't Much Love. Don Peterson, Randy Anguish. I don't have any memory of that whatsoever.
no. I think the whole Rocktoria thing was started to peter out at that point. I think the biggest years for it were like Rocktoria 3 and 4.
Well, there's also that album that was before. What was the ones where they had the songs with like In the Fairy Line and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that was like their all bad band, and they did.
Bad band, that's what it was.
Yeah, so they did make an album with some of that stuff. They made one that was special for the 1994 Commonwealth Games, and it had all of their joke parody stuff that they did for the Commonwealth Games. Which I think I have somewhere.
Huh.
I know I have the one that has like some Tragically Hip on it. I don't remember what the hell it's called though.
Yeah, they did another album. It was just sort of like a mixtape kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it had New Orleans is Sinking on it by the Hip. It had Sister Christian from Night Ranger, and other things.
Yeah, here you go. Basically, yeah, they've actually got. Hey, if you want to know anything about the history of the Q in Victoria, it's on YouTube, mixed in with lessons from Star Trek's Q. Who knew?
Yeah. Hey, Ed Bain is still going.
Yeah, I just saw it on their Wikipedia page. He's been there for like 33 years or something.
What's still going?
He's still going. He doesn't do it 5 days a week anyway. He's down to 4.
Who's
but,
Ed Bain? Remember Ed Bain?
I don't.
The morning
Wasn't
show
he the
guy.
weatherman on Czech TV.
Yes, he's also the weatherman.
I got to be honest with you. Like living in Victoria, I got most of my radio from Bellingham. I listen to KISM.
Kiss Radio.
I listened to the end.
Come on, go ahead, Dave. Yawn. The most riveting show on the internet.
I know, right?
Welcome to the Crafty Boys. We're all gonna die soon.
We never solved the mystery off the top of the show. Does Darth Vader drink beer with his mask on or off? Let's debate. Go.
Well,
Dave, you first.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the guy's got so much hardware on that he's got strategically placed pouches of beer and even other stuff that's just intravenous feed, and he can choose what he wants. That's what all the the buttons are about on the breastplate there.
I'm with Dave.
Yeah.
That breastplate is actually a beer fridge.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what all the buttons do. It controls the temperature.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
I think personally that Anakin or Darth Vader is so powerful with the Force that he actually has the ability to take beer and convert it into Force energy. And he can actually just kind of like take it in through osmosis. It just soaks in through the suit into every remaining pore on his body.
I like how you said every remaining pore.
Yeah, because there isn't a lot of pores there, but but what little pores he has, he's got it good, and he just kind of sucks it in that way. I think he's at 1 with the beer. Yeah. Shane, you get the final word on this.
I already know the answer, so here you go. I took a moment to bring up Wikipedia, which is the all play Star Wars. If you want to know anything about Star Wars, it's a place to go. Vader could take food through his mouth, but only when he was inside a hyperbaric chamber, since he had to remove his triangular respiratory vent. So basically, what Dave you said early on is that he had to be in his chamber in order to do that. So
does that mean in Empire Strikes Back when Admiral Piet went up to him and he was in his hyperbaric chamber and the helmet was lowering down, what was he eating, do you think? Like cheese fries or jalapeno poppers or what?
I think a BLT, or a BLT side order of
he suddenly turns around, he's got this big hunk of lettuce sticking out of his teeth.
Get out of here, Admiral Piet.
But actually, stop and reflect on what happens after he throws the Emperor down the chamber and the Emperor, I think, gets fried. And Luke goes to save him. Does he not have spinach in his teeth?
Yeah, he does. Actually, you can see when his skeleton is appearing. Yeah.
When he eats, he fucking leaves food all over the.
Oh yeah. Like, could you imagine? Like, no one's gonna see it. I mean, he's like, God, I've been outside being all evil all day.
Wear a helmet.
rips off his mask. These robotic arms come down. Here is your Reuben. Here is your coffee. Give me that! He's like, he's like, what's his name in Beauty and the Beast? The Beast. He's like jamming everything all over his face. He's trying to get as much in as possible.
Takes off the mask. He's got some like mac and cheese kind of dried to his cheek over here. A little piece of roast beef over here.
But I mean, it's only half as appalling as the Emperor's addiction to berry juice, because
exactly.
He's got a lobster bib on,
and he's standing there trying to be all commanding, and everyone's like not wanting to say anything, and then suddenly they all just drop dead.
It wasn't a scar on his forehead. It was spaghetti that dried.
It's been up there for months. The Emperor's like, Vader, Lord Vader, I've been wanting to talk to you about something very important. But that pesto we had last night, there's a bit of it up here. Just let you know, you could try and clean it off if you want to, but you can leave it. It's okay. If you want me to clean it off, I'll do it.
Gary at Computer Terminal 13, he says that your body odor is a bit rank. I'd like to talk to you about your hygiene. The Empire runs a respectable organization, and we take cleanliness.
Because you're like, those times you're like at a restaurant and you like drop food, you can't find it, and it's in some fold of your clothing somewhere, and then you stand up and it falls out. Like, imagine him standing up in his cape, like unfurling, like all the stuff just falling out of it onto the floor.
Well, that's where that deviled egg went.
Exactly. Oh, I better eat that, or it's still good. 5-second rule. He uses the Force to kill all the bacteria on it. I find your lack of cleanliness disturbing. God. All these things we grew up with, as adults, were like, they're cool. Not as cool as they were at one time.
Yeah.
But nothing's as cool as Alice Cooper, so
yeah.
Just throwing that out there for you, Luck.
Yeah, well, which Alice Cooper? The guy that does the interviews, the guy on stage, or Vincent Fernier?
I'll go with the guy on stage, because I know the guy in the background is like I don't know, teetotaling religious guy.
No, that's the guy that does the interviews.
Oh, all right then. You know more about it than I do. Educate me.
Yeah, well, like the genius of Alice Cooper is that he's always, well, maybe not always, because there was a couple of periods in that career where I think he was actually genuinely off the rails. Had succeeded in crazy ways and doing crazy things, and what is that going to do to you? And the interesting answer is that it makes you more and more sane, which is to say that he recognized, oh shit, I need to get a handle on this. And so eventually he developed a personality, like a screen personality that's Alice Cooper the villain. And then a screen personality that's Alice Cooper, the golf playing entrepreneur who hangs out with conservative politicians and speaks very slowly and believes in Jesus. And then there's the real guy who actually gets to have a life outside of being a celebrity.
I wonder what he's like to
do, isn't it?
I bet you he spends all this time down at Home Depot.
Who doesn't?
Didn't he do like commercials for like Staples a few years ago? Like maybe 10 years ago, they were like, his kid was like a punk kid, and he was buying like school supplies or something. Did you remember that?
Awesome.
Yeah,
it might not have been Staples. I don't recall, but
I mean, here's the thing. His backstage on-screen personality, I think, is as much a distortion of reality as his on-stage villain personality. But when you look at a guy like Ozzy Osbourne, you wonder, did he ever get those three all sorted out, tidied up? Maybe not.
I don't know if he bothered creating anything like that.
Yeah, I think you may have a point there, Dave. Like he may not have had that moment where he decided he would sort that out. But yeah,
I remember I was at Shane's place before the pandemic, and we watched that movie on Netflix, The Dirt, which was a story about the biopic about Motley Crue,
based on the book of Motley.
Yeah, and there was actually a scene in it where they were on tour with Ozzy.
Yeah,
and Ozzy doing like weird Ozzy things.
Yeah,
like not on stage, just
snorting ants.
Yeah,
or something. I don't even remember what it was. I remember it was kind of disturbing. So yeah, I don't think Ozzy has. If there's any truth to it, Ozzy doesn't have that sort of like on stage, off stage persona.
I still say the only reason the man still walks is his wife.
Oh, totally. Are you kidding? If he didn't have her, he would have been dead a long time ago. So yeah. I mean you gotta have sympathy for people that are in the public eye to that level. I mean, I think it was probably a little easier to manage, say, I don't know, in the 70s, even in the 80s. But celebrities today, like, imagine Ozzy Osbourne, his career starting, now or 10 years ago, and what, his trajectory could have been in the day of an age of this particular environment in which we live culturally.
I don't know. Do you think Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and John Lennon would say that there was less pressure in the 70s?
No. I'm not saying there was less pressure. I'm just talking about there wasn't as much accessibility.
Okay,
so,
that's fair.
Yeah,
maybe not as much
the pressure.
scrutiny.
I think. Well, exactly. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Is that like imagine any of the greats from like the 60s and 70s having social media accounts, having people recording everything. Like there would just be no way that they would have any privacy of any kind.
You know what the disappointing truths is a lot of the best legends that we have about the rock and roll era would have to. They wouldn't be as good because instead of imagining it the way you would in your own head, like things like, Richie Blackmore, Mickey finning somebody and putting them on a ferry to Iceland in a car naked, like, or where Iceland or Norway, but stuff like that. Like if it was all just Insta pictures, it would seem much less exciting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
Just think of the collaborative projects we would have gotten. Like John Lennon does a duet with Billie Eilish or something. Actually, she's the only pop star today that I know the name of. So I don't have any other examples.
Who's Billie Eilish?
I don't know what any of I couldn't identify any songs or point her out in a crowd if I was standing right next to her.
Oh, okay.
But I know the name.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. I mean, I know only of her. I don't really know her. Like, yeah.
I couldn't even spell her name, to be honest. I am assuming it's a girl. It might not be. It could be a guy because Billy kind of goes either way.
I do believe so. She would probably be the only one that I think I could possibly point out. But I have Google Music and I play music, during my day when I'm working. But I only 90s, 60s, 50s sometimes, if I'm in the mood and if I know a bunch of the artists, I know of them. I could recognize their music, but I've been trying more recently to actually play, what the latest top 40 or whatever it's called now. and I hate it. Two, I couldn't tell you who any of these people were. And my other half, she's like, well, that's so and so, blah blah blah. I've listened to them before, and they have this really popular tune, and I'm like, I've never heard this song before. I do not recognize it from anywhere. The only reason I recognize the Billy, what's her face, Eilish lady, is because some of her music lately has been in films. So I'll watch the film and I'll be like, oh, I've heard that song before somewhere. And then I'll look it up and I'm like, oh, that's the Billie Eilish person. But that's kind of the only connection I really ever get. Especially when you're like, what? Here's a trend that I really hate about television these days. If you're watching a TV show produced by a large conglomerate that owns television and music and other things, you always get those power ballads at the very end of all these episodes. Like you're watching like whatever show, and then like you'll hear like the other day I heard like a really horrible version of Hallelujah from Cohen. I'm like, it was unlistenable. I'm like, I don't care enough to finish watching. It's just that bad. And then I looked up the artist, like, who the hell butchered this? I'm gonna fucking hunt you down. But yeah, it was brutal. Like I was so like, you've heard that song done by like 100 billion other artists, but that particular version was really awful. But that's the thing. That's the only way over the last decade that I've actually heard. Well, I mean, that particular example is not new music, but the only way I've heard music from artists otherwise, because the company producing that particular show goes, okay, well, we have artist X who's releasing an album, in the next 6 months. Let's throw a couple tunes in to, accentuate the episode's emotional impact. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like the only place of music that was put on at a volume so loud that you could not hear the Foley and the I mean, granted, this example there was no dialogue, but there's an episode of Magnum PI where they played Genesis's Brazilian, which is just there's no vocals or anything. Yeah. They played the entire thing because Magnum had found the big villain of his Vietnam experience, and he was in the Hawaiian Islands. He was off to go and murder him or whatever.
Yeah. Do
you remember that?
Totally do. Yeah.
That was the only time where I could accept that a song should be played that loud during a television program. Mm-hmm. Otherwise,
so there was a commercial. I don't think it's running anymore, but it was being played all the time a few weeks ago. I think it's from LG refrigerator product. Anyway, in it, it's got this family. They're using the fridge and everything. They're having fun in the kitchen and everything. And there's a song playing in the background. It's "We Will Rock You" by Queen, but it's not Queen. It's some other version that's been made, and it's absolutely horrible. It is horrific. Like, I want to look up who made this and like send them like
hunt them down,
make them listen to it.
Question: was it actually a cover of the song, or were they doing that thing where they dance around the riff where it's not?
No. It was a cover of the song.
It was an actual cover of the song.
It was an actual cover.
Here you go. That version was done by a band called the Struts. They did a version of "We Will Rock You" being featured in a home appliance commercial for LG Electronics. And they changed the "We Will Rock You" to "We Will Knock You."
What? No.
Oh, that's apparently.
Well, maybe they did, and I didn't clue into that. But
so that's apparently what it is. I don't know who the Struts are. Does anybody here know who the Struts are?
No.
I am googling.
I have them in my car.
Are the Struts? They're in the trunk. The Struts are an English rock band from Derbyshire in England. They consist of a bunch of dudes formed in 2012. So there you go. And they're currently they only have three albums now. So there you go.
And they made money from LG.
Actually, probably more money was made by Queen than them. So my suspicion. Now, well, actually, let me go back to their album lists. Maybe did they do a cover on one of their albums? Maybe.
Ugh. Pain.
Oh, look, they've collaborated with Robbie Williams. I hate how much I want you. No, that's not a cover. It doesn't say. But anyway, at the end of the day, more power to Queen for. I mean, how much money did in 1995 when Windows 95 came out? I seem to recall Microsoft paid like some god awful amount for playing "Start Me Up." At some sort of
Did they?
event. They got paid like $14 million or something.
The only thing I remember was the Weezer music video to Buddy Holly was on it. Like you could actually play the video.
Sorry, say that again?
On Windows 95, they actually, I think it was Windows 95, they actually had like a way that you could play the Weezer Buddy Holly video.
So it's like an Easter egg
really?
thingy.
Yeah, but it was actually like in the actual operating system itself.
Okay.
I'm going to look this up, so I'm very curious. Oh yeah, here we go. Weezer's Buddy Holly was included on the Windows 95 install CD. Why?
Yeah, I never figured that out. It was kind of cool at the time.
So
It was in a folder called Fun
here's
Stuff.
Another thing to figure out is why is the latest Zakk Wylde video copying the Buddy Holly video of Weezer?
What?
Yeah, it is. Take a look. I mean, Zakk Wylde's a good guitarist, and he gets along with Kerry King, so he can't be all bad. But yeah, fuck. I have no idea what to make of that.
I have no idea, except he is not going to be playing on Ozzy Osbourne's next album. He's out.
No, he is out of that.
To be honest, I mean, there's probably at some level somebody liked something and they called somebody else and said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if?" And
nobody said no.
Nobody said no, or Microsoft at the time said, "We'll give you this amount of money, and it will be great. And we're not going to tell anyone we're doing it. It's just on the disc. They have to go looking for it." Is the Buddy Holly one? Is that the one that featured like some people from? I want to say like Happy Days.
Yes, it takes place at Arnold's.
Okay.
And it basically is just a bunch of. It's like, you know how in Arnold's, like Richie Cunningham and his band would perform in there all the time. Well, instead of Richie Cunningham's band performing in there, it's Weezer.
Yeah.
Did you know that Richard Cunningham went off to Vietnam?
Did he?
Character Richard Cunningham.
He did. Yeah, because they had that show the one with what's his name? Oh shoot. Joni Lives Cha.
Oh, do you?
Like after the show ended, and they had her.
Actually, no, that's not true. Joni Love Chachi ran in parallel with Happy Days and actually got canceled before Happy Days finished. But interesting story. Ron Howard only agreed to do Happy Days so that he could get out of actually going to Vietnam.
Huh. How do you like that?
Yeah.
The news line would be, or the headline would be, Opie dies in Vietnam. Yeah. So apparently, a whole bunch of them, all these characters went off to join the army and went out. I don't know what bizarre. Anyway, what a weird. Meanwhile, anyone listening to this is like, "What the hell are they talking about? What show is this? Happy what?"
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. Anyway, boys and girls, it is just over an hour, so we will call it there. And we've had a bunch of people watching today. Thank you for coming, and hopefully we didn't bore you to death. But that's why it's really important that that you, of course, have Dave here, who, as we close the show down, I'm going to bring him up on the screen, so he's on the screen, and he'll be doing a little striptease for everyone to watch.
Yes.
Because reasons.
trying to keep those bears occupied, and
gotta get the bears occupied,
discombobulated.
And we gotta get you some nipple tassels.
We are, of course, on nipple tassels. That I would pay money to see. We're on Twitter, of course. We're on Facebook, and of course you can also see us on the Twitch, on the YouTubes, and all that other stuff, and I'm too lazy to do the rest. So, as always, Alan, please take us out.